Ivory Coast in crisis? Coup rumors, Ouattara's legacy and Africa's future.
Africa. What's really happening in Ivory Coast? Coup whispers, social media panic, and the deep political scars of a nation still healing. And tonight, we expose the full picture behind the headlines.
From the shadowy coup rumors that grip the region to the uncomfortable truth about President Ouattara's grip on power, this is a story of fear, legacy, and power in West Africa. On May 19, 2025, panic rippled through the Ivory Coast. Social media exploded with reports. Military coup underway in Abidjan.
But there was no confirmation, no shots fired, just whispers, amplified into chaos.
Am I the only one who has a timeline about something is happening in Ivory Coast? And whenever I click, it's all English comment. First of all, it's Côte d'Ivoire, not Ivory Coast. And nothing is happening there. You guys should stop spreading misinformation. Nothing is happening there. Like, two people have asked me yesterday, is everything okay in Ivory Coast? And I was like, are we talking about the same Ivory Coast? And the funny thing is, it's trending on Twitter. It is trending on Twitter. And I kind of realized that those are pretty much old videos of things that has happened in the AFCON and things that have happened way, way, way in the past. Like, you guys should stop spreading misinformation. Now I'm even thinking all of these videos that I was seeing about Burkina Faso, are these even true? Because you guys are lying online.
On May 22nd, rumors exploded across platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Claims of gunfire in Abidjan, military takeovers, and even the disappearance of President Alassane Quattara. Wild, right? But just as quickly as the chaos spread, journalists and officials shut it down. The president himself was seen leading a cabinet meeting that very day. So, what gives? This situation is a prime example of how disinformation works, especially in a politically tense climate. One fake post goes viral, and suddenly people are panicking, markets are jittery, and the narrative spins out of control. Who benefits? Who benefits from this? Opposition groups, foreign actors, or maybe just chaos merchants chasing clicks? Either way, it shows how vital digital literacy is in today's world. The country is gearing up for the 2025 presidential election, and tensions are running high. Tidjane Thiam, former Credit Suisse boss, is back in the mix, controversially so. He's popular, especially with younger voters, but his candidacy is being challenged on legal grounds. This kind of tension is fertile ground for conspiracy theories, and for the public, it becomes harder to separate fact from fiction. Even though the coup rumors weren't true, the fact that they felt believable says a lot. In a region where coups have rocked Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, Ivory Coast isn't immune to that fear. And let's not forget, Ivory Coast is a key player in West Africa. A real crisis here wouldn't just affect Ivorians, it would ripple across the whole region. So what's next? The government may crack down harder on online misinformation, which brings up concerns about free speech. Meanwhile, civic groups are pushing for electoral transparency and stronger media accountability. But the real win here? Citizens are talking, questioning, and demanding better. That's how democracy grows.
To understand why these rumors spread so fast, we must look back. In 2020, President Alassane Quattara did something many consider a betrayal of democracy. He amended the Ivorian constitution, allowing himself to run for a controversial third term, despite the country's two-term limit.
The move sparked protests, clashes, and left a bitter taste. Many felt democracy had been hijacked, and today, that distrust still burns.
In March 2020, the people of Côte d'Ivoire breathed a sigh of relief. President Alassane Quattara, after 10 long years in power, stood before the nation and declared, "I will not seek a third term. A new generation must lead." For a moment, democracy had a heartbeat. But that moment didn't last. Just 4 months later, everything changed. After the sudden death of his hand-picked successor, Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly, Ouattara returned to the stage with a stunning announcement. He would run for president again. And this time, the Constitution would not stand in his way. Back in 2016, Ouattara had introduced a new constitution, one that kept the two-term presidential limit, but left behind a critical loophole. His team argued, this was a new republic. The previous terms no longer counted. Legal trick or democratic reset. Supporters called it constitutional. Critics called it treachery. But on the streets of Abidjan, the people simply called it what it was, a betrayal. The protests erupted like wildfire. Opposition leaders cried foul. Youths marched in defiance. Barricades rose. Tear gas filled the air. More than 80 people lost their lives. Hundreds were arrested. And yet, the election rolled on. On October 31st, 2020, Alassane Quattara was re-elected with 94% of the vote. An election boycotted by the opposition, shadowed by violence, marred by silence. On December 14th, he was sworn in for a third term. But behind the fanfare and official parades lay a broken promise. Côte d'Ivoire's story is not unique. In Guinea, Alpha Condé did the same. In Rwanda, Paul Kagame. In Togo. In Uganda. Across Africa, leaders are rewriting rules, clinging to power by any legal means necessary. They call it constitutional. But we know what it is, a third-term trap. The question remains, if democracy can be bent with the stroke of a pen, if constitutions can be erased by ambition, then what future awaits the next generation? Because power should serve the people, not rule over them.
Drop a comment. Do you think any African leader should go beyond 2 terms? Let's talk.
But in a region where coups have become common, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, can appearances alone reassure a skeptical public?
The African Union and ECOWAS quickly condemned the rumors, urging respect for constitutional rule. Yet both organizations have been accused of looking the other way when democracy is eroded from within. Some African citizens online are saying, "You defend democracy only when the military steps in, but not when presidents manipulate constitutions." Do they have a point? What's worse in your opinion, a military coup or a constitutional coup? Drop your answer below. Ivorians remain divided. Some trust the current regime, others see the coup rumor as a symptom, not a surprise.
One young protester said, "If you ignore the people's voice long enough, rumors become revolts." Powerful words.
Ivory Coast scare is a warning bell. Across Africa, youth populations are demanding change. But will leaders listen or rewrite the rules to stay in power?
When trust in elections fades, coups, real or imagined, begin to sound like justice to some. That's dangerous for everyone. Africa needs accountability, not just stability. It's time we talk, reflect, and demand better.
Like this video, subscribe to Top TV Africa, and share this broadcast with someone who needs to hear it. Disclaimer. This video is based on publicly available reports and verified sources. We do not endorse unverified claims. Viewer discretion is advised. Always seek updates from credible outlets.